What is, for a guy like me who hasn't been up here for a Civil War game before, what is this series? What is this matchup like?
Well, I think it's one of the best in the country, and I've been in some good ones. Well, at UCLA, the USC one, I think that's a really big one. But here, it's one of those things where the whole state is involved. Everybody's family is either a beaver or a duck, and some of them are both. So it's a really big deal. It's for the bragging rights for the rest of the year. It's always been the game for Oregon, no matter what the records are between the two schools, no matter what's at stake. It's always Beavers and Ducks, and who's going to have the bragging rights for another year.
What are these games like being played up in Corvallis? We know what that Autzen feeling is like, but what's it like playing these games on the road, 45 minutes away in Corvallis?
It's really tough playing up there. The fans, they're really into it. They get a little brutal sometimes, but it's a big deal to them. And when we're there, we know that we're going to have to fight tooth and nails in order to come out with that thing.
Okay.
Coach, I mean, you've been around this program for a long time. You've seen a lot of Oregon State, Oregon games. What specifically about this rivalry is so different from other countries?
Well, I think the thing is that it's bragging rights for the state. As I said earlier, every family is either a beaver or a duck, and some of them are both. So families get split even sometimes during this time of the year. But for the rest of the state, it's all about bragging rights. It's all about who has that year to brag of being the champion of the state.
You've had several years to have those bragging rights. I mean, what does it mean to you personally to have those for 6 years?
Well, I just want to win the game. When I first got here, we won for several years during the Rich Brooks era, and then we went through some years where we lost it, and that was a bad feeling. It was hard to live in the state if you lose, because like I said, there's a bunch of Beaver fans here, and if they beat you, they let you know it. For 12 months, they let you know it.
Is there a certain memory that sticks out from the rivalry in your time here?
Well, the biggest memory in my mind is the year we had a 0 tie, and it was like I wish we hadn't even played the game because there was no winner. I mean, when you play the game, you want it to be competitive, and when it turns out that way, where there's not a winner for all the work that was put in by both teams, it's kind of disappointing. So, obviously there have been some big wins that I've really been proud of. I think the one when we went to the Rose Bowl was a big win up there, and again, it was in bad weather as it usually is up there. But that game sticks in my mind most because it was a disappointing game for everybody, I think.
How do you feel like you guys are running with one regular season game left?
I think they're doing really well. This is the time of the year where it's really tough. You've played a lot of games, and everybody's beat up, everybody's tired. It's tough to go out there and practice. So we've kind of had to alter our practices a little bit. We want to keep them fresh. We don't want them to be, too run down and too bored with what we're doing in practices. So it's a tough time now to keep guys' attention, and a bunch of them are hurt as well. Well, everybody is across the country, but it's just a tough time of the year for college football.
You made the comparisons to Jonathan Stewart for Royce Freeman on Saturday. Can you expand a bit on that?
Well, I think I really meant just by his physique, the great shape that he's in, the kind of attitude that he has toward the game, and obviously now the way he's competed. So he looks a little bit like Jonathan as far as his body is concerned, and he's a strong kid, very mature kid, just like Jonathan was when he came to us.
How much has he grown since the start of fall camp, since you started seeing him?
How much has he grown?
Yeah, just as a player, as a person.
Oh, he's grown a lot as a player because he knows what he's doing now, and he's a lot more comfortable. So when guys get into a comfort zone, and they know what they're doing. They don't have to worry about, am I running the right play now? Am I going in the right directions? Am I taking the right steps? And then their natural talents can come out. So I think he's getting to that point where his natural talents are coming out, and he's beginning to do some of the things that we coach him to do as far as being able to break tackles and keep people off of his body. Whereas when he first got here, he was just intent on running the right plays and then running as hard as he could and just hoping he didn't get tackled.
Hitting 1,000 yards as a freshman, young guy, very little playing experience underneath his belt, and we haven't even finished the regular season. What does that say about the way he's developed this year, his natural talent as well?
Well, as I said, I think the fact that he has gotten experience with the offense and he feels comfortable, and now it's not a feeling, he's not feeling his way around anymore. He knows exactly what we're doing. He knows the players that are out in front of him. He knows the offensive line. He's got an idea of what the receivers are going to do when they're blocking, and he can use his own talents now a lot better and really get loose and make moves out in the open that he didn't do when he first got here, because he was thinking a lot about running the right routes and being on the right tracks and doing the right things, and now he knows all those things, so his natural talents can come out. So as the season went on, he's gotten better and better. He started off kind of slow. I told him today, I said, congratulations. I didn't think it was gonna happen when it started out. We didn't have as much success as we wanted to, but now he's really on the roll, so he's gonna be fine.
Oregon State doesn't. They're on paper, they're one of the better defenses in the Pac-12, but they give up yards, they give up points. They've only won a couple conference games. What can you tell us about them that maybe we haven't seen, from covering them, talking about them for so long?
Well, the main thing you haven't seen them play us, because when they play us, they always play a lot different. I mean, this year they've had up and down games. Week before last they beat Arizona State, and then they go up and they lose to Washington. There's just like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of an attitude that they've had as far as playing. But you can bet when they suit up against us, they're going to give us their best game. Just like last year, they came down here and they really gave us a run for our money until the end of the game. I expect them to do that same thing this year.